very young sides. Both teams will be looking to make a strong statement today. South Africa have already showed a glimpse of just how competitive they are, taking Rwanda side to the edge, playing out every single ball of the last over. Rwanda, we're on the hot seat before finally taking up that victory. And so far, Zimbabwe will be eager to turn their performance into winning results.
And it's the Zim under 19 that have taken the field now. The skipper of South Africa during the toss wants about 180 runs from allotted 20 overs. While her Zimbabwean counterpart said it's 120. They would like to bowl the under 19s for. We expect some aggression here this morning.
Two games played so far by each team. South Africa picking up a victory in their first. South Africa under 19 women picking up a victory in their first, narrowly losing the second by 4 runs to the Rwanda national team. And Zimbabwe still yet to get their very first victory. Lost the first game to Nigeria and the next game to Rwanda. This is a battle of youth and prowess, and remains to see which side will dominate first.
That's the Tin Lips today. South African under 19. Maker Van Vogt will lead the side. Ashley Van Wyk, Ashley Bernard, Jillet Philander, Mia Lelo, Richard Billet, Toba, Sikokule Masilela, Chanel Veta, Danila Bushop, Kananelo Mukane, and Zia Muhala will be the lineup for the South Africans.
And the lineup for the Zimbabwe under 19 is the captain herself, Mafusa, followed by experienced player Beloved Biza, Christina Mutasa in the team alongside Lorraine and Muyenasha, Nicolit, Nokutenda, Salem, Tadiwa, Tawania Yasha, Betel, and Mofu in the team for the Zimbabwe under 19. Game can start. Waiting for the first ball of the game to come into play. And it's the captain who will start the bowling spell. She will look to lead by example. Ashley the batter on strike. Ashley already in the top order of the batting. Chanel Venta was dropped down a little bit off the pecking order in the tactical approach against Rwanda. And against this side, she's come up first. Excellently played into the gap, fielded chases and chases. Good stop, very close to the boundary. 2 runs for the South African under 19. 2 quick runs to start off the inning.
Brilliant start here to run straight away.
Excellently bowled by the bowler. Good line, knowing the right areas, and he's putting it in there, making it very, very difficult for Ashley to play. You're very used to seeing the South African batters explode very early in the batting overs. Very first over I would be very more specific, but now it's starting to be a little bit slow for them. Excellent control from the bowler. They're hitting the ball in the right areas consistently. A captain's lead.
Beautiful way to start the innings. I tell you, South Africans U19s won't take anything on offer granted. Great shot straight to the fielder at square leg. A run from that one. We've got quick fits here.
Four balls bowled already, and the only run that came out was off the first ball. 3 consecutive dots. And Mapusa are doing an excellent job. Zimbabwe looking for that first in. Oh, beautiful played. Excellent timing. And the ball races away to the boundary for first boundary of this inning.
Clearly, the replay shows you how this has happened. Short pitch on the leg stump line. And Ashley made no mistake about that one. A bit of aggression here from the South African batters.
Straight line to the fielder at mid on a top ball. And that ends the first over. 8 on the board. South Africa go very explosive. 6 on the board, my corrections.
A brilliant approach here by the South African under-19 side. And skipper Maposa clearly hitting that middle and leg stump line and with that field placement at short mid-wicket. Just trying to make sure they squeeze things in. Left-hand bowlers, always difficult customers to come by. However, it's 7 for 1 for no loss. After one over for no loss.
First over started and finished by Ashley, and the second over we start with Chanel facing the first ball of the inning. Wide ball he goes, fielder in the deep, misfield by the fielder, and that ball is already at the boundary, another boundary for South Africa, 3-1 at it.
Disappointing for Zimbabwe, foolish delivery. Goes all the way but went through the legs of the fielder. Disappointing outlook here. Hopefully enough time to fix things on the field. But it will be more boundaries for South Africa. Better line this time, just on that middle stump line. Foolish delivery. Christiana bowling from the Court of Appeal end of the TBS cricket over. The rain was quite scary this morning, but good to see the clouds opened up. Another wide delivery. You just have to be a bit more cautious here. Watching the extras. Too early to look at the current run rate. 11 and over. Deliveries yet to come.
You can smell that wicket. She's really tying down the batter down in this over. She's getting closer to the wicket with every delivery wide of the first top ball, just a single. But she's been very consistent in that line and just the length that needs to be corrected.
Take out the 5 wides, maybe, yes. A brilliant one this time. The umpire not interested. It's nice little chip into the batter there.
Looking at that ball moving just well enough to trouble the batter. Good backing by Ashley to remain on the batting crease. Wanted to go fishing there, Chanel, but didn't make the right contact. Didn't hook the ball in the right place. And that ball will be dotted, much to the pleasing of the Zimbabwe under 19. 1 run off the bat so far in this over. 2 extra runs, wide 4 and another wide.
Looks to go big, but straight to the fielder at mid-off. Didn't really get hold of that one. Christiana trying to tighten things up a bit. Great conditions out here today after the 30 minutes downpour. Call it the nature's relief. Beauty misses everything this time. So unlucky. This is beautiful piece of bowling.
That late back edge off the bat. Already going to the wicket. That late turn off the ball. Even the keeper didn't anticipate that. And Betel Zinyama almost with another error in the final leg region. 17 runs so far for no wickets lost after 2 overs. Captain is back from the pavilion end for a second over. 8 overs, 8 runs in the first over. That is a tight delivery outside of off stump. The bowler is keeping things very controlled here, not giving the batter any room to free her arms and play.
If they can stay consistent on this line, then this will be some positive for Zim under 19s. Shaky first 2 overs of this innings. But so far it's been good now. Again down the leg side, and the keeper fumbles that one. It will go all the way. These are needless runs given by Zim. And South Africa will be happy with the scoreboard tickings with these extras, where they look to take advantage with the bat.
That ball could have been dealt with better. As that swing in the ball, the wicketkeeper did her very best, and there was no one in that deep region to stop that boundary. Another 4 for South Africa. A team very, very efficient with playing off the bat, have now been given the chance or being given 3 runs. Lovely played into the gap. Didn't race all the way to the boundary, but they all settled for 2. Huge shot off the back foot. South Africa under 19 going very explosive. Slow start in the first over and already 25 on the board in less than 3 overs. Still within the power play over. South Africa under 19 already and dominant. Ooh. Delightful piece of batting by Chanel. Played up. There is no stopping that. That ball races all the way to the boundary. 4 of 4. She found the gap beautifully in above the few infielders and straight toward the boundary. You could watch that shot again and again.
That's it. And slow again. Foolish delivery. She goes big over mid wicket. And that's the required aggression if you want 180 on the board. Maker Van Voss made that clear earlier at the toss, and that is the approach we've seen from Ashley and Chanel. Just making sure it counts without considering the extras. Misses that one. The keeper will have to help this team here today. Another boundary. It's boundary galore. 2 consecutive ones. And that brings us to the end of the third over. And the score is on 33 for no loss.
From Kodovapi, and she comes, swings beautifully. That was a run out chance there that wasn't properly utilized. Good thinking from Chanel to return back. And beautiful stuff from the fielder. Already anticipated it was going to miss the batter, the bowler. But Christina was very compact, didn't react in time for that run out chance. And Chanel and the South Africa bench survives the scare. Oh, lovely pull shot to the leg side into the gap. There was no stopping that. Calculated the length and met the ball at the right placement.
Aggression is the watchword now for the South Africans. Plays that one off a leg stump. That races away for the boundary towards the cricket lab end of this oval. There are beautiful indoor facilities there. Every team has taken advantage of what facilities they've got here at the TBS Cricket Oval. Still in the 4th over. Score on 37 already. Straight to the fielder, covers. This time giving her the room. Didn't really get hold of that one. Perhaps trying to get through the gap on the offside. 1, 2, 3, 4 fielders in that cordon on the offside. That's full toss and well treated by Chanel. Christina will have to watch that one, slow things down a bit. Seems she's hurried into that one. Full toss on that leg stump line. And that goes the way towards fine leg for a much deserved boundary of that delivery.
Big shot to the boundary, and it's another 4. 3 fours in this over for South Africa.
Aggression means aggression, and again the replay there. She goes big, and this time over, and another deserved boundary. More and more we would see. It looks like and 45 already. And South Africa taking advantage of this power play. Wide again, smashes that one over the top, but this time just outside the inner ring, and they will get a couple. Brilliant running between the wicket. And Chanel and Ashley, this partnership, very solid. That brings us to the end of the 4th over. Score is now 47 for no loss.
New bowler from the pavilion end, it's Salem Museka. Still yet to pick a wicket in this tournament. 2 matches played, no wickets, and 4.2 overs bowled. As Team Zimbabwe have decided to take the pace off the ball and come with a much more slower approach as they look to break this already good-looking partnership of the South Africa Under-19.
Slowing things down a bit. Salem Museka. Brilliant stats. Just field placement. 1, 2, 3. 2 fielders outside the inner ring. Oh, brilliant shots. This will go through the fielder at covers. Couple of runs for sure. Completed the second one. And deep mid wickets and a deep square leg. The fielders outside the inner ring. And players down.
That was the previous ball. That was sent to the boundary. On the leg side he came, and the face of the bat properly connected to the boundary. That was out. Those boundaries are big coming up. Big one, perfectly timed. South Africa are starting very early, starting off very, very explosively. 49 runs partnership already for Ashley Bernard and Chanel Venta. Ashley Bernard with 18 runs, already all 15 balls. Chanel Venta didn't bat in the previous game against Rwanda. She went down the batting order. Now she's coming. Her previous being 8 against Ghana and already having 16 of 11 balls versus the Zimbabwe under 19. Good batting hitting for both batters as they have showed much improvement and much more contribution. No wickets yet, and we're still in the power play inning. There will be a delay in the resumption of play as a player of the Zimbabwe side is down and is receiving treatment. Play can resume as the player is on feet to play and the 12th man has had to step up and come in or play. And now play can resume. Salem, 2 balls bowled already and 4 more balls to go to finish the 5th over. Ashley still the batter on strike. 21 being the highest against the Rwandan side. Not too much of a performance against Ghana, 8 of 10. The next game didn't win it, but at 21, getting close to that figure. A late edge. Start ball races to the boundary, no one in the deep. And 4 more runs climb the board for Team South Africa.
A brilliant shot there, more and more runs. Difficult times here. Mandizora is off the field, replaced by Mpofu Uvarashe for Zimbabwe under 19. She goes big, finds that gap, but fielders comes around it nicely. Ashley is trying to consistently maintain the aggressor's role. Salem Museka still trying to slow things down. And creates that room, no contact there whatsoever. Decent line board. On a wide delivery, not what you want to see if you're watching from Harare. But for sure, South Africans are happy to take those extras. The pressure is up. Comes down the wicket, goes over the top, in there for the take. Yes, it is taken. The skipper herself makes sure, leading by example. And 55 for the loss of 1 wicket after 5 overs. His channel would depart for 16 of 12 deliveries.
Fantastic bowling from Salem was brought in as Zimbabwe decided to take the pace off the ball, and just outside of the inner ring, and the captain was quick to the ball, went underneath it and locked arms round the ball. First wicket for Zimbabwe under 19, and the team can build up momentum and feel confident going into the batting order of the South African under 19. It's 5 overs completed, 55 for 1. Number 14 with Abili Utoba, the new batter in to finish the 5th over. There was that catch, met the ball a midway point, but not enough power behind that ball, and the keeper, the right person, leader by example, starting off the wicket decimation of the South African under 19. Zimbabwe under 19 will stick to spin bowling. As Tawanyasha is the bowler coming from the Court of Appeal to bowl to Ritabile. Only one batting in for Ritabile, 17 of 12 in the game against Ghana. Didn't get the chance to bat against Rwanda yesterday, and now she's back in the top batting order, coming in 1 down, and we'll look to continue from where Chanel stopped. Last over of the power play. Narrowly escaping a run out as that ball came off the boot of the bowler to the wicket. Good return by Ashley. Should have been an out if Ashley wasn't lucky to be back on time. Lovely display of the bat and into the gap. 1 run. Just surviving a scare, Ashley, and now she will come on strike. Wide call by the umpire. 1 more run, a free run for Zimbabwe.
Turning out to be a very good over here to close off the power play. Full on that occasion, well driven. But there is a sweeper at long offer who cuts it off to only 1 run. Very good batting here, Peter, you'd say, from the South Africa under-19s. They've really made a very good use of the opportunities given by the Zimbabwe under-19s in the field.
The tension is building from every delivery, every ball that comes into the deep, into the gap. Lovely short play, 2 in between covers and point, and racing all the way to the boundary for a beautiful 4.
Lovely shot there from Chanel Ventel again with offered square driven. No chance whatsoever from the fielder in the deep at long off, who had to cover a lot of ground, but in vain. Last ball to come in the power play. Already they are sitting on 62 for the loss of 1 wicket is the South Africa under-19s.
Another run-out chance miss. Tower had all the time in the world, didn't react on time to that ball, missed the run-out chance. And South Africa under 19 continue to feast off the fielding errors of the Zimbabwe under 19 side.
And that's the end of the power play. A very productive power play here, you'd say, from the South Africa under 19s, having won the toss and decided to have a bat first. They found themselves on 62 for the loss of 1 right after the power play. Gonna be a very interesting passage of play, given the way that Ashley Bernard, who's now sitting on 23 off 17 with a new batter in. Reda Tabile. They would love to, of course, keep getting those boundaries. They've set a very good platform for the next batters to come in, including, of course, the captain, Mika van Wyk. I beg your pardon, Mika van Vost. Spin coming in from the pavilion end. Straight away picks up a wicket.
A very beautiful ball, beautifully bowled by Salem. Got the first wicket of Chanel and has picked up another wicket. This time it's the wicket of Ritabili. And the Rwanda side are going to boom off of this.
Picking up a wicket from the very first over of right after the power play, beg your pardon. They would love to keep picking those wickets. Swing and a miss, playing across the line before even getting off the mark.
A very crucial breakthrough for the Zimbabwe on the 19th side. So tell me, Bob, now there's been there's now a chance to have more fielders outside of the inner ring. Where would you like to see the fielding placements, given now just how adventurous and precise the South African batters have been in terms of finding space on the field?
Very good question there. I don't mind having 3 fielders on the onside, a deep square leg, deep mid wicket, and a long on, given, of course, that in the power play they picked up 3 or 4 boundaries on that onside. It tells you a thing or two. They are very strong square the wicket. And, of course, have someone in the deep, a deep extra cover. They've been balling it all over the wicket. The Zimbabwe under-19s. They haven't learnt a lesson. 62 for 1 after 6. 62 for 2, I beg your pardon, after 6.1. As the captain, of course, joins Ashley Barnard at the crease. Captain Mika van Vost, who had a very, very good tournament 2 months ago in Durban. Boy, of course, these two sides are faced off. And South Africa under-19s got the best out of the Zimbabwe under-19s. Taking their time to set the right field for the captain. You don't want to let her get her eye in. She can be a very, very dangerous person if she stays, if she occupies that crease.
Up until today, Salem had yet to pick a wicket in the last 2 games, and today she's already picked up the 2 wickets that the Zimbabwe under-19 women's team have had, and it's looking very, very. The game is now becoming a much more even game for both sides.
This, of course, they would love to build a partnership. Is the captain and Ashley Bernard. The captain, on the other hand, a lovely shot again. Takes the healthy outside edge, looking to clear the fielder. Of course, that covers. The chase will be on by the 2 fielders again. Chase in vain. They've scored 4 boundaries in that particular region behind the wicketkeeper. Something they need to readjust, given that the wicketkeeper has given away a lot of byes, and the field setting, as you mentioned earlier, you can see the short third man was very, very wide, which gave her no chance to save that boundary.
Just when it looks like the momentum of the game is in the hands of the Zimbabwe, South Africa pull out something off their sleeves and make sure and reminds the Zimbabwe under-19 that they also have much more control of this game, given their target, and they're doing everything possible to get to that target sooner than possible. One more ball to go to in this over. Salem already 2 wickets, 13 runs conceded. Ashley finds that gap, late edge, races all the way to the boundary, no fielding placement, and South Africa under-19 are taking advantage of every single fielding chance and every fielding space that they get. Lovely boundary, I would say, Bob.
Once again, it's the field placing here for the young lady chevrons with offer on that occasion through the kitchen sink on that. Took the outside edge, no chance again from the wideish short third man, as they picked up yet another boundary. They're still moving at 10 runs and over. It could be a very, very big worry here for the young Zimbabwe under-19 side. 73 for 2 after 7.
A new bowler is being brought in to complement Diwa, coming from the Court of Appeal end to Mickey Van Voorst. Not finding the space there, Mickey. One of the most daring batters in this tournament, played 2 beautiful 6s against Rwanda in the last game. Much more to the displease of the Rwanda side, as they were looking very, very troubled. Low fielding errors, and she maximized that confusion in the team.
Good bowling there from the new bowler from the Court of Appeal end, Tadiwa. But again, when you look at the way the captain, Mika van Vost, is going by with her game, she came in finding Ashley Barnard in full touch, and she's made sure every time she faces, she's rotating strike for her. Yes, she's been the best batter of the South Africa under-19s, having scored the second half century of the tournament. And of course, that cameo that almost got them over the line against Team Rwanda, where they lost, of course, by 4 runs. With 37 runs, with 2 maximums and 2 boundaries.
Strike rate have been really impressive for Van Voorst. 50 of 34 against Ghana, and Rwanda 34 of 27. Seeing how close that Ashley is to that half-century mark, she is actually giving her all the chance she needs to do that.
Goes cheeky, but not that much effective from the informer Ashley Bernard. She would love, of course, to capitalize on the opportunities given in the power play by the Zimbabwe Under-19s and carry her team. They are yet to get a second half centurion in their side. She's already into the 40s of 26. She's given them a very, very good platform for a big total. Cut away again, straight to the fielder. Run out chance. And this time round, the run out is completed.
And very unnecessary runners. That shot was direct to the fielder out covers. And now Mickey Van Voss with this miss the field and exits the field of play for less than 10 runs. The first time we've seen her get less than double figures. And this time he was our own undoing. The shot was off her bat and so was the call. The quick feet of the South African batters not paying off this time. Direct through and the bowler was very effective. Got to that ball off the first peak and dislodged the bills. Easy call for the umpire. Another wicket for Zimbabwe Under-19.
And of course, a very good fielding effort there from the captain, who chipped in a very, very good throw back to the bowler to make it more easy for her to run out the captain. That wicket falls. 77 runs on board for the South Africa Under-19s.
Sifokule, the new batter, Sifokule had a very beautiful performance against Ghana in the opening match. Built a 50 runs partnership, the first 50-run partnership that we saw in this tournament between Sifokule and the captain herself. She didn't get the chance to bat in the second game against Rwanda. She's back here already in the batting order, very early in the batting order, as they've set a target of 180, and they will need all hands on deck to get to that figure.
Say, on the other hand, the third wicket has been the biggest, of course, you would say, for the Zimbabwe Under-19s, given that Mika van Voster haunted the Zimbabwe Under-19s back in January in that series, of course, the youth series. Turn and bounce on that occasion. No chance there from the new batter in Sifokule. As we come to the end of the eighth, it's 77 for 3.
That run out again, a very unnecessary run taken. That ball was yet to beat the fielder, and the guts, the intuition of Mickey Van Vost was to pay for that.
Sifokule, on the other hand, joins Ashley Bernard. She scored 37 in her first game with only 2 boundaries. Is Sifokule, so expect a lot of running between the wickets. As of course she will be taking strike. Beloved Biza, the experienced Beloved Biza, comes into the attack from the pavilion end. They have a deep mid wicket, a deep square leg, and a long on. Interestingly, only 3 fielders are outside the ring, given that South Africa Under-19s are moving at 9.6 runs and over. They would love to see the experienced Beloved Biza try and slow down the rate if they are, of course, to get their very first win in this tournament, the 5th edition of the Nigeria Women's Invitational Tournament, Patricia Kambarani Cup, into the path straight away, but the umpire says that was straying down the leg side. Very aggression there from Sifokule.
Not giving the batter any room to score. Zimbabwe have come up with a spin. Spin has gotten them 3 wickets, and they plan to stick to it as the game progresses. Full length and cautiously dealt with by Sifokule. An error could have seen a wicket. Is it? No, it is not. Quick feet that we expected. and one more run adds up to the board for South Africa.
Let's have a look at that again. Full on that occasion plays it straight. A little bit of fumble, but look at the throw. Poor communication from the two. Nearly gets the inform batter out. Very good, of course, decision by the umpire. I'm not sure why they are in a hurry. They are moving at 9 runs and over, given that the captain spoke about 180. They are within the reach. Having lost, of course, Peter, the captain, with a run out. You can't afford to lose yet another wicket. I'd love to see them stabilizing this and build a partnership. Yes, they've bat very deep is the young South Africa under 19s.
Those late turns behind the ball are giving Ashley Bernard much difficulty in dealing with. She's had to be patient, and with off that last bounce of the ball and below Biza's experience with the national team is coming into play. Loud appeal given by the umpire. A reverse sweep backfires for Ashley Bernard. Big wicket. Not the way she wanted to go out, just 10 runs shy of half a century, of getting that half a century mark, and she walks back very disappointed.
Let's have a look at that again as she makes the inroads. Is the experienced beloved Biza. Goes cheeky but not effective. Very easy decision from the umpire. That would have crushed middle stump as they lose their 4th wicket. A very good comeback here from the Zimbabwe under 19s, given that right after the power play, South African under 19s were sitting on 62 runs.
The pressure finally pays off as the bowler has gotten a reward. Kept Ashley Bernard there quite tight, and Ashley couldn't find the offside or in the gaps for a run, and just had to try to go to the leg side where they've gotten free boundaries multiple occasions. This time it backfired, and beloved Biza has the last laugh. And now we can just wait. J. Lee Philander, the wicket-keeper batter, is the one in the batting crease now for the South African under 19.
She's gone for already only 1 run, picking up a wicket, of course, of the informer Ashley Bernard. Yet again, a set batter doesn't convert 40s into the big totals. 78 for 4 after 8.4. Her 3.2 overs are going to be very key in this particular fixture. Is beloved Biza, given, of course, the experience she possesses. She has played ODI cricket for the Lady Chevrons. She hasn't got enough runs with the bat, of course. One of the reasons the Zimbabwe under-19s having gotten off the mark with a win in this 5th edition. Last ball to come. A tidy over to start off her quarter is beloved Biza. In the air this time round. Won't be taken as they will be looking for the double at these two. But this time round, her partner says, hold your horse. We just lost. Oh, very sloppiness again to give them a double. Unnecessarily throw there, you'd say.
Error in the throw there, and they help South Africa turn 1 into 2. 6 balls completed. It's been a very disciplined spell for beloved Biza. 9 overs completed, 80 runs, 4-4.
17 extras bowled by the young lady Chevrons. Every suicidal, especially in these short format games. Nearly bowling 3 overs in extras. There you see the batting chart. 40 from Ashley Bernard, 40 off 29, 6 boundaries. 16 from Chanel Venter. Nothing much from Rita Bile and the captain. But these two, Sifokule Masilela and the wicketkeeper batter, Jailia Philander, they would love to make a partnership to steady the ship. 80 for 4 after 9.
This match is going to be a huge test for the Zimbabwe under 19 Chevrons. They've not really gone beyond an 80-run mark in this tournament, having 80 against Rwanda and 83 against Nigeria. Still much more overs to play. It remains to see how much they've improved. Yesterday was a rest day, enough time for teams to go back to the drawing board and analyze what went wrong and where they've been shortcoming.
There's a thing or two, Peter, given that, of course, they haven't crossed, as you just mentioned, 80 runs in this particular tournament. They would love to cut down those extras and make it very hard for the South Africa under-19s. A loud appeal on that occasion. Not out says the umpire. I would love to see that on the replay. That looked very, very close as the umpire signals buys.
Just narrowly missing on the wicket. The wicket keeper has been quite relaxed. Always expecting those balls. From what I've seen and understood about the wicket keeper, wherever there is a swing, there's an assumption that the batter has played, and those late misses always get her off guard, and that has been more of an advantage for South Africa.
She's not had the best day in the office behind the stumps. She's given away 3 byes that went for a boundary, and now a stamping chance. Make that 2 back-to-back stamping chances that goes down.
Jay Lee is left frustrated. Seeing that ball, the length is good for play, but not expecting that turn, and that ball, this time around, the ball stayed low. Much to our disappointment.
Jay Lee, on the other hand, she's been given 2 chances from the wicketkeeper batter. She won't give them many, as she's been the best behind the stumps. One of the best, of course, wicketkeepers in this tournament. Half tracker on that occasion pulled away, but there's the sweeper. They'll settle for only 1 run.
But so far, we've seen South Africa almost getting run out on multiple occasions. About 4 run-out chances, only 1 has been taken here. Do you think that they should take less risk or just continue with the game's flow?
Swing and a miss knocks her over this time rounder. Make that the 5th wicket in no time for the Zimbabwe under-19s. They've done a tremendous job right after the power play, making sure they picked up 4 wickets in no time without conceding a lot of runs. Let's have a look at Gain on the replay.
The frustration taking the best of Jeli Filanda. That ball was meant to be defended, but just wanted to get something on the board as quickly as possible for South Africa, and she lost her wicket in the process. Already into the drinks break, 82-45. Do enjoy some of the highlights while the teams get themselves a much needed break and go back to the drawing board briefly. Beloved Biza starts the innings break, the drinks break, and Miatelo kicks off. Miatelo is the new batter pairing in with J. Lee Philander. J. Lee getting herself off strike, sending Mia on strike. Mia finally getting a batting inning against the Rwandan women yesterday. The day before, the rest day, my corrections, did well with the bat. The opening bowler has had to come in the middle order of the batting for South Africa under 19. Too much is given, much is expected. And Mia Lelo will need to help the team push to their target. 180 runs was the target, and they're just a little bit halfway into that target run, Bob.
Talking about Peter 180, as the captain Mika van Voster, who's already back in the dugout, said earlier at the tosser, you feel right after the power play, they are sitting on 62 for the loss of 1 wicket. In the next 4 overs, they've managed to contribute only 20 runs, losing 4 wickets. You'd say the young lady Chevrons have won the next 4 overs. They would love to capitalize on that. They would love to make sure they don't allow any partnership whatsoever. Mia Laro, who is not rabbit with bat in hand, plays this straight back to the bowler herself. Her beloved Biza putting on a shot with the bowler. Bowling her second over. She went for only 3 runs in her first over, picking up a wicket of Ashley Bernard as they send a long offer to the boundary ropes. She has a long on, deep square leg and deep mid wicket. Those are her boundary riders. Lovely piece of bowling once again from our beloved Biza, taking matters into our own hands. 83 for 5 after 10.4. Right after the power play, they are moving at 10.5 runs and over, and the spinners are spinning a web for the Zimbabwe under 19s, making sure they keep the run rate under 7 runs and over. As we come to yet another tremendous over from our beloved Biza, it's 83 for 5 after 11.
And the bowling chart. The captain opening the bowling, yet to pick a wicket. The only bowler who's picked up 2 wickets, Salem Museka and Tadiwa Garuta, and beloved Biza also 1 wicket apiece.
A lot of credit has to go to Tadiwa and beloved Biza, going for only 9 runs in their 4 overs. Should be expecting more spin coming in from the Court of Appeal end. We spoke about how running between the wickets is going to be very, very key, given that we had heavy rains this morning. The outfield won't be very, very electric. Shot on that occasion, but there's a sweeper in the deeper. A little bit of a misfield. And they all settle for only 2 runs. Looking for the third batter. Leroy is not the quickest between the wickets.
That would have not been a nice scenario. It happened in the first over of play, and almost again, this time in the deep region. The leg side ball was unnecessary from Tower. Didn't really have a fantastic first over, was withdrawn off the ball and is back in. And this time, much more fuller. Couldn't be dealt with by the batter, and that is dotted.
Should love, of course, to correct her line and length is Tadiwa. Full again, works it on the onside. Should be a single.
Beautiful play, just good delivery length from the bowler. Good comeback from Tadiwa Mialelo. The bowler, the opening bowler for the side, is going up against another bowler as herself. To the leg side, the ball came and driven into the gap. And there we had 1 more run to the board as Mia takes herself off strike.
The This is very smart bowling from Tadiwa, bowling to her fielder. She has two fielders in the deep, a deep square leg and deep mid wicket, and a long on. Given, of course, that they will be hitting to the bigger part. She's made it very, very hard for the South Africa under-19s. Another stamping chance goes down. I beg your pardon, that's cleaned up. Fantastic there from Tadiwa. As Giant Finland, let's have a look at that again on the replay.
The batters of the South Africa have been frustrated as the runs are not coming off of bat, and they want to go on to attack every bar as it comes. That shuffle, and the miscalculate of the bounce, good turn off the ball, and that leg stump was the target, and the target acquired. Jay Lee will go back having less than 10 runs to a batting chart.
It was bound to happen given that she was given 2 chances by the wicketkeeper, but this time round she's been cleaned up by Tadiwa, who's been bowling tremendously, bowling her 3rd over, and they pick up their 6th wicket. Is the Zimbabwe under-19s unnecessarily done again from Giant Finland, given of course that they had lost half the side. She ends up exposing her leg stump. The first time we have seen a team testing the batting lineup of the South Africa under-19s. These are the most wickets they have lost. 87 for 6 after 11.5. A very fantastic comeback from the young lady Chevrons.
The goal is to keep South African under-19s below 110 to aid their chase, as that will give them enough time to reflect and select shots. The new batter in is Danieli Boshoff.
Right,
lovely display of the bat. Temperament display there, as that ball was a good length and threatening the stumps of the first ball, and wanting to preserve what is left of the batting order of the South Africa. A dot to end the 12th over. It's 87 on the board for 6.
Uh, 87 for 6 it is. After 12 overs is Danelli Mia Lalo. This time South Africans seems in all sorts of trouble. Mr. Diwa from the pavilion, and another dot ball. This has been brilliant stuff by Zimbabwean under-19 coming back into this game. Initially at over 7, it was 70 plus. Brilliant. It's real test for these South Africans now. They were in a very good position. Was lost 4 wickets within a touching of about 8 runs. Amanda Zora fell on the field earlier, but she's fine. The doctor's reports came in nicely, so nothing to worry about. She's well looked after in one of the biggest hospitals here in Nigeria, St. Nicholas Hospital, who are also partners in this tournament. Inside agent to that one, no run there. A field at 45, just making sure. This is real test, like I mentioned earlier, for the South African batters. They need to get the team out of the woods here. 88 for 6 into the 13th over.
The young lady Chevrons have been really good since the power play innings. They took only 1 wicket of the South African under-19 in the power play, and as of that time, South Africa had 64 for 1 wicket lost. And now look at it, 7 overs later, and they've only been able to add 92. They've only been able to add 28 more runs to that total. The boundary of the last ball of the 13th over. It is 92 on the board for 6 wickets lost. Good bowling and a lovely front foot display into the gap, into the covers, and Danieli Broshoff adds 4 more runs to the batting score of South Africa. We really didn't see much of Daniel Bishop in the first game. Second game, she came in as the replacement bowler for Shofa Mukari, who got injured after a shot off the bat came in contact with her feet. So she came in to finish the bowling spell of Shofa, did it beautifully, and then got the chance to batten down. She's back in the team, and there's the highest partnership we've got in so far is the opening pair, Ashley Bernard and Chanel Venta, 55 off 30, with Rita Billy unable to replicate that, and a partnership ending of just 9 off 7. The only double figures after that was Ashley and Jay Lee.
It's good to see how these Zimbabwean under-19s have come back into this one. We thought South Africans were going to run away, but cricket being what it is, continues to test all the players here. Flicks that one away towards deep square leg, fielder there, protection. Wanted a second one, but she won't get Mia Lalo.
Already 2 balls in, Tadiwa with 2 wickets and just giving out 9 runs in 2 overs. In 3 overs, my pardon. Just misses the hand of the bowler. Does he get to the boundary? Yes, it does. Full display of the bat. Nicely played through into the middle of the long on and long off.
Brilliant shot. This one went through that bowler's hands and finds the gap between long on and long off. Disappointing for the bowlers. She had it. She could have stopped it and fielded to her own bowling. Tadiwa bowling the 14th over. 96 for 6. Gradually, Maker would be wondering a target of 180, and she was looking the part with her openers from that first 7 overs and 70 on the board. So now things being slowed down. She walks it on the leg side this time. One run completed.
Slightly fuller this time, that ball, and the field batter just flicks it to the leg side and takes herself off strike. Short of a length, that ball is. The batter tries to cut but finds the fielder. Dot ball. No one is enjoying the bowling spell better than Tadiwa right now. Into that gap, but there was a fielder in the deep, and they will settle for 1 run. Rotating strikes as boundaries are slowed down. And end of the over, a pretty tidy over for Tadiwa as the bowling inning comes to an end. It is 99 on the board for 6. Dot of the first, couldn't find that gap. Mialelo, beloved Biza, taking advantage of our experience. Above the bowler, and they will settle for a 4-run fielding error by the captain. And South Africa can now breathe a sign of relief, already crossing the 100-run mark.
Plenty of overs to come. That replay again. This comes on there. Chip it over the bowler. Was good enough. Was there. Keeper came around it but couldn't get her body behind that one. Another boundary, much required and needed by South Africa. Again, into the gap this time. Fielder right there. It will be just a single. 15th over. This might just drop around the figures of Maker and Mapuso.
One run it is into the gap. Straight too long on. And it's one run there will settle for Mia and Danieli confidently and very quickly rotating strike. Boundaries are not coming, but certainly the boards are ticking. 6 runs already in this over. In the air it goes. And the fielder in the deep drops the catch. First dropped catch of this match, much to the disbelief of beloved Biza.
And it's our captain, the captain herself. Very disappointing. She rushed into that one. She should have waited. Misjudged the timing on that one. I think Zimbabwe under 19 have done so well. Batting scorecard there. Ashley Bernard, 40 of 29. And Chanel Veta, 16 of 13. The only double figures in the top 7. Now Mia Lilo and Deneli Bishop looking for that partnership.
And into the bowling start, no wicket for the captain, Mafusa. And Salem and Matasa also wasn't at the wicket, but Salem Museka picked up our first wicket in this match, making it double. And below, Bees are currently the bowler of the last ball. Little break in play, little delay as the wicket keeper was slightly unable to continue play, and Salem will put on the keeper's pad for the last ball of this over. Straight back to the bowler.
That's the end of the fantastic spell there from our beloved Biza, going for 17 in her allotted 4 overs, picking up a wicket and the big one over Ashley Bernard. It's the end of the 15th. It's 107 for the loss of 6 wickets, moving at 7.13 runs. And over is the South Africa under-19s. Getting into the back end of the first innings of match day 4, game 7 of the Nigeria Invitational Women's Tournament. Patricia Kambarami Kappa. South Africa under-19s having won the toss. They found themselves on 107 for the loss of 6. How many more can they add is the big question here.
And now the wicket keeper, bowler, and batter below Biza will don the gloves for the team, having completed a bowling spell. And now she will take the part of Salem, as Salem will come in to bowl a third over.
Brilliant line. Ask a bit of question there. Salem, inches bowled decently okay. 107 for 6 into the 16th over.
Very lovely job by Tadiwa and Beloved to keep the run rates down to the 3 runs in 8 overs was what South Africa batters were able to add on the board, bringing the run rates to 4.2 per over. And now both bowlers' bowling spell has finished. It's now in the hands of the remaining bowlers to try and see out the rest of this game off the back of the bat. No much power behind it as the fielders are quickly behind the ball. 1 run and Mia Lilo goes off strike. Short attempt misses the bat, and the leg by will be 1 more run for South Africa. The runs are slow, the boundaries haven't appeared in quite a while, but the board is certainly taking with singles. A stump opportunity missed there by Beloved, as Mia Lilo will survive that scare. Good bowling, good length from Salem. Wonderful delivery, guided towards the fielder in the deep. 1 run, Mia Lilo takes herself off strike to begin the 17th over on strike. It is 110 for 6 after 16 overs completed.
The conditions have really been hot the past 3 days. Today being the fairest of all those days. But these players have shown resilience, patience, focus. It's Tawayana Shape who will continue from the pavilion end of this over. Mia Lilo, 13 of 20 deliveries. Oh, she has to get going. A brilliant line. That fourth, fifth stump line. The umpire happy with that one.
China shot only put 1 over before giving out 9 runs and has to come back. And she started off very, very nicely.
This time goes big. Fielder in the dip. Long on comes into play. That one, Jesse, number 12. Strike rotation here. Certainly be the secret. Let's keep the scoreboard thinking until those last 12 balls.
In the air, is it a catch? No, it is not. As the fielder at backward point drops it. Scare survived for Daniel Brushoff. And will stay for another over. 17 overs completed. It's 121-46. Salem for another over, a boundary of the first 4. Perfectly played and slashed into the gap. Point fielder couldn't get the ball and chases it all the way to the boundary. And there you see it on that replay, met the ball on the front foot. 4 more runs already in the penalty made over. And South Africa are going all full out in attack. On the leg side in the comfort zone, not enough power behind it as there was a fielder in the deep to prevent a consecutive boundary. 1 run they will settle for. And Danieli goes off strike for Mia Leilo.
A little shimmy misses that one totally. Run out opportunity. Will that be given? Yes, it is given. Desperation requires desperate times. And that's what South Africa under 19 here looking to do. It's Mia Lilo who departs for 14 of 23 deliveries.
Corrections there. That call was actually from Daniel Bosho. Felt that ball was far enough and trusted a quick fix to get her in the popping crease, which did not go through. Good hands, good pickup and throw from Bethel to Beloved. And they get a much needed wicket. Less than 3 overs of play left. And Zimbabwe already looking very confident. Ashley Van Wyk, the spin bowler, in now in the tail end. Mia Lilo still in the batting crease. The opening bowler looking to as well end this game for South Africa. Now a new pairing already into double figures. Just 4 batters have got into double figures for the South African in this inning. But the highest being the score 40 by Ashley Bernard. The second highest by Daniel Boshoff 25. Just walked off the field for Ashley Van Wyk to come and add his own scores to the board. Ball from Salem on the leg side already. Mia wanting to call for 1. Wicket will have dropped there. Good decline by Ashley. Will stay on strike. The start ball is dotted. Briefly played off the front foot, but doesn't beat the fielder in the inner ring. Another consecutive dot. Salem will take advantage of the tail end batting order and look to minimize the runs as much as possible.
Scrambles are on here. And clearly, that brings us to the end of the 18th over on 127 runs for the loss of 7 wickets. 7 runs above the target of the Zimbabwean under-19 captain. She said 120 was a total she wants South Africa to get. Maker is far away from our own projected total of 180, but this is where we are into the last 2 overs of this innings. Current run rate sitting at 7.06 and projected score 141. We hope this will be a very good encounter coming through the second innings, but how things finish here depends on this lady with the ball from the pavilion end, and her name is Tawanayashi. Rocks back and hits that one on the back foot through the covers. It will just be a single. This is brilliant field placement here by the captain. 4 fielders outside the inner ring, deep points, long on, long off, and deep square leg would come in. Just having that umbrella field placement, some left arm off spin. This will be turning away from the right hand batter.
Outside run played big. And a dropped catch. Consecutive dropped catches by the backward point. A big show was played and that edge into her arms this time was underneath it, but couldn't wrap her hands around the ball and the scare survived.
Pierces through cover regions this time. They will get a copy. 2 guaranteed runs there. Ashley just ensuring the scoreboard keeps ticking. Very crucial moment here. They know every single run is a nail on the coffin. But that is what pressure brings on. 9 deliveries left. Short pitch, wide off. Caught 2 points. Indecision, poor communication, almost costing South Africa under 19 there. But they completed that run. And it's safe to say that South Africa have just managed to bat themselves into a decent position here.
Zimbabwe with the ball, they've been really good. Their batting hasn't really been that steady. They've not played beyond 83 runs in this tournament. The 83 coming against Rwanda, against Nigeria, the only way to register 80 on the board. Now it remains to see how they perform in chasing this one against a very effective South African side. Beautifully pulled to the leg side. It doesn't beat the fielder in the deep, as 1 run is what they will take from it. 1 more ball for Tawanasha. A run off every ball in the first 5 balls. A dot of the last 6 runs added to the total in this over. It is 133 for 7 wickets lost.
We're into the last 6 balls of this innings. We've waited long enough. If you're unsure, it will be 10 minutes between these innings. Lost 30 minutes to rain early this morning. The skies are clear now. We're guaranteed A blockbuster this afternoon between Rwanda and Nigeria. That game promises to be an encounter worth watching. If you're following this around the world, we will be bringing you that game live. And follow the games on the YouTube page of the Nigerian Cricket Federation. Mutasa Christina. This time, this one will go all the way, maximum. And clearly, that pace helped here.
Full delivery by Christina and timed beautifully by Mia Lilo, getting herself a first maximum in this tournament. South Africa have been explosive, and she also gets into that very scanty book of batters in this tournament to have played a maximum.
It's quite a decent boundary here, but that one got the best of the tickets of edges and would go all the way for the needed maximum. Clearly, and just what you want in the last over. She will go hard, and as hard as she can to get as much as she can to ensure the pressure is already up on the bench. In Zimbabwe, we have just 10 minutes to swap things around. Yesterday, the players in the match goes big this time over the inner ring in front of point. Get a double. That brings the score in this over to 8. We're just going to say, Peter, yesterday we had an amazing electrifying atmosphere here. The legacy program that got kids and players together, full 3 hours of intense involvement. And the players enjoy their time. That the footage will come to you after this innings. Foolish delivery, driven straight to the fielder. It covers, no run from that one. 3 deliveries left in this innings. It's been a fantastic first innings. Ups and downs. South Africa dominating the first 7 overs, losing a couple of wickets in quick successions to slow things down. She goes big, inside out, fielder comes around it. Yes, it's safe. Just be a single again. See how Zimbabweans have managed to turn this around. The projected score after the first 7 overs was expected to be 190, 200. But they've got those wickets in the middle overs to slow things down. But again, these young South Africans have managed to just keep the scoreboard thinking, not taking their eyes off the chase, the target chase. Short pitch smashes that one through the offside. Fielder fumbling that one and allowing a second. Zimbabwean fielders need to do a lot better. I think they've come back strongly. Last delivery of this innings, projected it should be 145, but let's see how many they will get from this. Shimmies down the wicket, right in the block hole, scrambled there. She wants the second, no. The score would be 145 runs as projected. For 7 after 20 overs, this is what we have in our hands, 146 to win in 20 overs. Zimbabwe under 19 will have to come and chase, and that's a batting scorecard for you. Ashley Bernard up there with Chanel, that partnership, and start early on in the first 5 overs, 40 off 29, 16 off 13. Other double figures, Mia Lilo, 25 off 29. Danelli Bishop, 25 off 17 are the key supporters here Extras 19 also ranked in top 5 scorers and is 145 for 7 South Africa under 19. The bowling charts there, Salem Museka 2, Tadiwa Gurusa 2, and below Biza 1 for 17 of 4. A decent economy rate there by Tadiwa 4, and below Biza 4.2. And clearly the partnership at the top there, the two openers, Ashley and Chanel. And of course, Milo and Denelli at the bottom there, 39 of 34, and then 50 of 30. In South Africa, 145 for 7 after 20 overs. Ashley Bernard, 40 of 25. Mia Lilo, 25 of 29. And we'll come back after 10 minutes for the chase.
All right, as we see the umpires walking on to the pitch. And of course, the South Africa under-19s are very electric in the field, having won the toss earlier on and deciding to have a bat first. They found themselves setting a target of 146 to the young lady chevrons. Of course, courtesy to Ashley Bernard there on your screens, 40 of 29, and a very good cameo at the back end from Mia Lelo and Danili Boshoff contributing 50 runs. We have a game on our cards here as opting the batting is going to be none other than beloved Biza alongside Nicolette Nika opening the batting for the young lady chevrons. They will need 146 in their allotted 20 overs in the chase of match day 4, game number 7 of the Nigeria Invitational Women's Tournament, live here at the Tafawa Balewa Square. With no surprise, it's going to be Mia Leroy to open the bowling from the pavilion end. Picked up 2 wickets at the last time these two faced off each other. First ball, here we go. Plays it on the back foot, watchfully there from our beloved Biza. As I also welcome Peter back into the commentary box. Welcome back, Peter.
Thank you very much, Bob. It's nice to be here for the start of the second innings of this game. Very fantastic inning, very good display of both bowling and batting prowesses. And this is the second inning, which means to see if the batting of the Zimbabwe under-19 can complement what the bowling did in the first inning.
Into the block or straight away from Mia Leroy. She is pumped. She knows that 146 won't be an easy target to chase down by the younger lady chevrons. Of course, given that the last time they faced off each other in the Cricket South Africa Youth Tournament back in Durban in January, where of course South Africa under-19s posted 135 runs. She picked up 2 wickets in that particular game. She would love to make the inroads up front, up against her beloved Biza, who is looking for a big total and a big score into the pads, works it on the onside, but not run taken. It's all going to depend on shot number 3, beloved Biza. She's been getting into the 20s, but of course, given the player of her caliber, they would love her to play out at least the power play and see where they find themselves without losing a lot of wickets. South Africa, on the other hand, in the first innings, they are on 62 for the loss of 1 wicket right after the power play, which set, of course, a very good platform for them to finish strong.
I remember very much after the second game against Rwanda, the captain Mapusa had to come out to say that if they had more wickets, that they would have had a chance of winning that game. So what they want to do right now is play out this game as much as possible, because if the wickets are available, then the runs are chaseable.
7 runs to gate, of course, moving forward. If they are to chase down 146, is the young lady chevrons who are yet to get off the mark. Takes a little shimmy, picks it on the full, straight as a die, nobody moves. And the chase is in vain as she gets off the mark. In style is beloved Biza.
Met that ball and just fed off the pace coming off that ball. 4 runs, 4 quick runs into that straight gap between the open field, and that is just the kind of stats that Zimbabwe under-19 will be needing, as they have a very, very huge run margin to chase.
Beloved Biza always getting off the mark in the similar fashion we saw the other day against Team Rwanda with a lovely cover drive off Diane, the captain. But again, they would love to see her bringing out the A game, especially in this particular fixture. Last ball. Plays it straight to the fielder at pointer. And of course, with that dot ball, we come to the end of the first over. It is 4-0 Zimbabwe under-19.
There is that 4 again. On off the front foot and straight.
Lovely shot there, of course, on the replay from beloved Biza. A very confident shot. Coming off, of course, the sweet spot of her blade. The challenger, the biggest challenge ahead for the young lady chevrons is how they're going to go by playing the spin duo over Ashley Van Wyk alongside, of course, Mika Van Vos, the captain, and of course Mia, who makes a comeback, of course, into the I beg your pardon, Zia, who makes a comeback in the first 11 of the South African under-19s. Those are 12 overs of spin. Ashley Van Wyk, with no surprise, will be sharing the knee cherry with Mia Leroux, coming in from the Court of Appeal end. She has a deep square leg and deep mid-wicket, the only two fielders outside the ring. Enticing delivery there, inviting her for the drive shot, but Nicolette, who's been looking for runs in this particular tournament, watchfully plays that fast ball.
Lovely display of the bat, narrowly missing that edge as the sharp hands of Jelly Fernanda would not hesitate to get it. The first wicket in the 2 games that South Africa has played, the first wicket of each game has been an edge behind to the wicket keeper. Remains to see if they will continue on that streak.
Expect to see a lot of leg breaks from her. She's always threatening the outside edge. One of the reasons, of course, she has a slip in play and the backward point and pointer and cover. Very fully packed offside. Half track on that occasion. Loud appeal. And the finger is up. She draws fast blood. Is Ashley Van Wyk. Look at the celebrations as Nicolette has to depart. She's had a drought of rounds. As they pick up the first hit, South Africa under 19 4 for 1 after 1.4.
A very tempting ball there, bowled by Ashley Van Wyk. The best decision below could come with was that swing. Already saw the pitch, saw the turn, but that accelerated swing made her so I missed the shot and play before the ball. Straight, it will be a good sighting, good call by the umpire. South Africa already starting off brightly.
Unfortunately, there you would say, having a look at that again on the replay, almost a half tracker, kept it at too low, deceiving, of course, Nicolette, who departs without troubling the scorers. Exactly what the doctor ordered for the young South Africa under-19s.
Not the best of tournaments that Nicolette has had. First game scoring 4 of 8 against Nigeria and a silver dog against Rwanda with 0 runs off 2. It's been here now and she hasn't really been able to find that settlement, hasn't really been able to settle down. 3 straight dots, go off for the 4th ball, and that just mounts more pressure to whoever is coming in the batting order.
Tadiwa joins a beloved Biza. That was the first wicket, of course, courtesy of Ashley Van Wyk. Leg break, went for a big sweep shot, kept it at too low. Easy decisions, you'd say there from the umpire. Enticing delivery again, inviting for the drive shot. This duo, of course, made sure they didn't leak a lot of runs, put on a show with the ball. Tadiwa and beloved Biza, but they have a big task ahead with the bat in hand. Up and over, nobody moves. 1 bounce, 2 bounces over the ropes. Making a statement. She doesn't need any sighters. Is Tadiwa to get off the mark as we come to the end of the second. The scoreboard reading 8 for 1.
Carefully calculated shot of the first bounce. She fed off and high. She went over the infielders. It was certainly destined for the boundary anyways. And that is a big boost for Zimbabwe. The runs have been slow, but 2 boundaries, taking their total to 8 for 1 after 2 overs.
Not about the first 2 overs, you'd say here for the young South Africa under-19s. They've picked up a wicket, making sure they keep Zimbabwe under-19s under 5 runs and over. Mia Leroux, who's coming in to bowl her second over. She has a galley fielder in play for beloved Biza, who takes a little shimmy up. Beats the diving effort from the fielder at short mid-wicket as the ball races away to the boundary, putting Mia Leroux under the pap. Straight up is a beloved Biza as she picks up her second.
A ball that was coming so full, that was the best way to deal with it. Just feed off the pace and send it to the boundary. The second boundary from beloved Biza, and it's coming from none other than the first person who considered the boundary to Mia Leroux.
This is very good technique from Beloved Visa, given that Mia Laura has been getting lateral movement in the previous games. She's taking a little shimmy to pick the ball on the full. Walks it to the outside. No run taken this time round.
Been very efficient in the field. I will commend South Africa under 19 women's. They've been very, very tired in terms of fielding, not giving any licks and taking every chance that they catch or at the run out that they get. And if there's anything Zimbabwe needs to do is replicate what they did in the first inning, and that's play into the gaps.
Into the pitch, walks it on the onside. A lot of work to be done in the deep one, but that work will be in vain. Good over it is turning out to be for the young lady Chevrons. Pace owner from Mia Leroy, and she pays the price.
Beloved just finding out with him those in-swing balls coming to the leg side, and all she just has to do is just redirect it to where the region he was already going to, taking advantage of that open field setting on the leg side.
Talking about the technique of Beloved Biza, who's already into double digits, 12 off 9. She's kept her eyes on the ball throughout. Change of pace, well played by Beloved Biza. Why not after, of course, getting 8 runs of the first 4.
Tricky field setting there done by Mia Lelo, not having a square leg and a wide fine leg, and still the balls are always swinging to the leg side region. Beloved hasn't really been able to combat the ball given the pace and the swings, but an open field like that would be punished on a regular day.
Full again, but this time round straight to the fielder at mid-off. No run taken once again. Coming back to your point, Peter, I don't mind the field set here for this young South Africa under-19s. It's one of those days where you ball an in-swinger, but very good shot played by Beloved Biza. Of course, with the experience she possesses, we're talking about the player who has played the ODI cricket, if I'm not mistaken, 20 games for the Lady Chevrons. So you would expect to see her, of course, bring out her A game. Rocks back on the back foot, but this time round straight to the fielder at point. No run taken again. 8 runs coming off. The third over, 16 for 1.
They've not done a lot of running in between the wickets, but certainly they've been finding the gap. And you look at that boundary of the front arm. And that was the first boundary that she got off Mia Lelo. This is the second one by Tadiwa herself. And this is, another boundary that she scored off Mia Lelo again. Mia Lelo has given Beloved Biza 3 boundaries. 4 boundaries already, no running in between the wicket yet to the comeback fielding, and making Zimbabwe play really, really hard. And I think it is part of the game strategy.
Ashley Van Wyk comes back to ball her second. But again, when you look at those 2 boundaries in the previous over, she's not bowling to her strength. Is Mia Lelo. She had a gully in play, 5 fielders on the offside, and she kept targeting the pads. Touch and go, nowhere to go, says the fielder at covers. The fielding, of course, on the other hand, has been tremendous in their previous 2 games. Is the South Africa under-19s. They won't give you many runs in the inner ring. Shot on the occasion, flat-batted, and the catch is been taken. Talking about the fielding, look at that catch. She had to cover a lot of ground from mid-off, trying to hit it over the bowler's head, but Tadiwa has to depart for 4 or 5 deliveries as they pick up their second. Is the young South Africa under-19s.
Similar to the shot she got to the boundary, this time the knock was in the middle of the bat and couldn't go as further as she wanted to be. Good catch, good stop, and a very much deserved wicket for South Africa. They've been very, very competent, making sure that those balls haven't found the gap and making Zimbabwe play off the bat of all time to get to the boundary. And that is just what the tactical approach was, and they are getting what they have been searching for.
And again, it's Ashley Van Wyk again picking up her second wicket for just 4 runs inside a 2-pointer, 3 overs. She's made it a habit in this 5th edition of picking up wickets up front in the power play. Always putting the opposition side of the back foot. Already they have lost 2 wickets. Is the young lady Chevrons needing 130 in 99. They have to rethink. Beloved Biza, on the other hand, still striking it at over. Let's have a look again on the second wicket. Half on the occasion. Allowing the bottom hand to come into play. But what a take. Look at the celebration. It tells you how important that wicket was. 16 for 2 after 3.3. They kept up with an attacking field for the new batter in Lorraine. Slip in play. Shot on the occasion as she gets off the mark. They will be looking for the double. But they will settle for only 1 run as Beloved Biza is back on strike for the very first time. She's going to be facing Ashley Van Wyk. They know this is the big wicket they need. If they are, of course, to pick up yet another win is the young South African U19s. 2 deliveries to come for Beloved Biza, who is already striking it at 100. Plays it on back foot straight to the fielder at covers. She wasn't part of that team that played in January in Durban in that youth, as she was part of the Lady Chevrons taking on New Zealand. Last ball shot pulled away powerfully into the gap between the 2 fielders at long on and deep mid wicket for yet another boundary. Very good way to close off the 4th over is Beloved Biza as she moves into the 16th. 21 for 2 after 4.
And looking back at that ball again, that was the ball pulled to the leg side. Very beautiful boundary. And it's first time another batter is getting the boundary. Another bowler, my correction, is getting the boundary. Is giving a boundary to Beloved Biza. It doesn't matter who is coming in. She's focused and she knows the mantle on her shoulder and she's taking that responsibility. Again, talking about Beloved Biza, who is now struck 4 boundaries so far. Every boundary, she's thrown herself into the right position. When you look at those 2 boundaries of Mia Lelo's, where she was angling it into the pads, elbow high into the vacant region, and this half tracker from Ashley Van Wyk that she hit into the cow corner region. Picked up length quite early. She was well positioned. Should be a sign of worry to the younger South Africa under-19s. They need her wicket. They know how important the wicket of Beloved Biza can be in this fixture. 125 to get in 96. Last 2 overs of the power play. South Africa were sitting on 62 for the loss of 1 right after the power play. They are 41 runs shy is the young Lady Chevrons having lost 2 wickets. How many more can they add in the power play given that they are only 2 fielders outside the ring? There is a bowling change coming in from the pavilion as Mia Leroy is being rested. Kananelo Mokwena. No sleeping play. There's a start man and fine leg. Full and quick. Nearly takes the outside edge. A very good start from Kananelo. Late reaction from Lorraine, but luckily wasn't anywhere near the stumps. And South Africa are taking advantage of the fact that the Zimbabwe bench are under pressure. The runs are not coming. Only one run has been completed in between wickets. The tight fielding will make them play more balls or attempt to find more spaces in the gap. And in that state, either a run out or catch might surface.
No ball signal by the umpire on the occasion. Overstepping from her second delivery is Kananelo.
Late shuffle from the fielder bowler. She was running in, missed the step in, and just lifted herself very, very close to the stumps. That jump was probably more than she usually does and called by the umpire, and now Lorraine has that freedom and immunity to go as big and high as she wants with the next ball.
She has the green light, free hit to come. Full wall, square driven again between the 2 fielders. A lot of work to be done in the deep by the captain. What an effort. The fielding has been spot on for the young South African side as they only pick up 2 runs off the free hit.
Lovely played in between the gap, but you cannot undermine how effective this South African under-19 have been running in while batting as well as in the fielding. they've not given any unnecessary runs or given chance to it. Always very, very agile and quick on their feet.
This is where, of course, the young South African under-19s can be very, very dangerous. They have managed to tick all the boxes despite the fact that they lost against Team Rwanda, a very, very close game where they lost by 4 runs. They ball in partnerships, they bat in partnerships, and look at that fielding.
Cricket is a team game and everybody has to work hand in hand and contribute and support as well. And that effective and efficient fielding method employed by the captain and being accompanied by our teammates saw the runs cut short by 2. And that is actually what they need to do, keep Zimbabwe as low as possible and round up this game quickly as possible. Short ball, a very short ball, not dealt with by Lorraine.
And again, smartly done by the South Africa under-19s. When you look at the way they have planned for Beloved Biza, who is on 16 or 14, they make sure they target the other batter to make sure she doesn't face a lot of deliveries. Is Beloved Biza. She can be very dangerous, having picked, of course, 4 boundaries, but they have made sure they keep her off strike. Wides on offer, says the umpire.
Sarika will need to either keep Beloved off strike or get her out, and she's losing comfortable, but it's just a matter of time. The wickets are falling and the pressure might get to Beloved soon, but she's doing a very comfortable job. Not too much, just getting the boundary when she had the chance to. They really need to start running in between the wickets.
Lovely shot with offered on the occasion, and she pays the price. Is Cananelo throws the kitchen sink, and that one is Lorraine as she picks up her first boundary. Much needed boundary here for the young lady chevrons.
Runs have not been coming to it, but that lead edge of the bat and that chase was not really of much benefit. Finding the space, like I said, is what they should do, and that was a good one. And now more runs have been added to the board.
Last ball to come from her very fast. She has gone for 8 runs so far with offered again. That should have been a wide. And she decides to play straight to the fielder at point. Another dot ball to bring us to the end of the 5th. 29 for 2 after 5. Zimbabwe under-19s. For 2 after 5. How many more can they add, Peter?
I think at this point the goal will be to play out all of their wicket. They've not been able to do that, and they're the only team that has not been able to play out an entire inning. They will need to look forward to doing that because they've only got one more game after today, and this win will actually give them a chance of going into the playoff rounds.
There will be a change in the bowling as Ashley Van Wyk has been arrested. As we see, shot number 7, Ashley Barnard. She did her part with the bat, opening, of course, the batting for the young South Africa under-19s. Into the pads, walks it on the onside. Starts off with a single. Is Beloved Biza. But again, now this is where the South Africans have been very, very smart and clever. They would love to target Lorraine to see if she can face the next 5 deliveries.
South Africa have been very, very rotative in their team, giving everybody a chance at bat and ball. We saw the tail end come into the top order figures to come in and bat, and I would say they've contributed very, very good with the bat. And now Ashley, being the opening batter, has come into bowl and has started off pretty great.
Shot again, but there's a fielder at short fine leg. No run taken again. Make that 2 back-to-back dot balls. Keeping, of course, a Beloved Biza off strike. They don't mind bowling at Lorraine, who's already faced 10 deliveries for her 7 runs. 30 for 2 after 5.3. Full again. Quick hands. Oh, what an effort there from the captain herself, saving her team a couple of runs.
Very commendable performances. Always ready to do whatever it takes to prevent runs from being multiplied.
Leading from the front is Mika van Vost. Full on the occasion into the block hole from Ashley Bernard. Turning out to be a very, very good over here for the young South Africans. Last ball in the power play. 31 for 2. Swing and a miss. A fantastic over there from Ashley Bernard to start her spell. She goes for only 2 runs and nearly takes the wicket over Beloved Biza as we get to the end of the power play. It's 31 for 2 after 6. Do enjoy, of course, some of the highlights of the power play. Found themselves at the Zimbabwe under-19s needing 115 in the next 84 deliveries. The field is spread right after the power play as we see the introduction of Zia, who picked up, of course, 2 wickets in the last time these two faced off back in Durban. Let's have a look at her field set. She has a deep square leg, deep fine leg, long on. A short third man from Zia Mohanlal. A young lady, of course, with a lot of talent. As I welcome Mr. Endurance back into the commentary box.
Thank you, Bob. Interesting afternoon and game we have in our hands. The South Africans, a sweep shot there. This is brilliantly done. That boundary comes handy for Zimbabwean under-19s. But for those 2 wickets, this is looking like a game to not miss if you're around the TBS oval.
Starts off with a dot, with a no ball, I beg your pardon, into the pads. Whacks it on the onside for a boundary. 5 runs coming off. Being put under the pump straight away is Zia by Lorraine. Taking matters, of course, into her own hands as she moves into double digits. Free hit to come. Full again into the pads. This time round, she doesn't get enough timing. They will settle for only 1 run. 6 runs coming off the very first ball of Zia's spell. Can this be the over? Of course, they target her.
There will always be that 1 or 2 overs where things will go out of hands. But in this case, it's 109 required from 83 deliveries. And these Zimbabwean batters are not going to go down without fighting.
Much better line there from Zia. But again, it's going to depend Endurance on how Beloved Biza is going to go by with her game. One of the players, of course, who can take away the game from the opposition side. But the big question is, how long can she stay out there at the crease?
That one turning really big, and she misses out on it. It's good to see how her game plan clearly is. So once it's on the leg stump, I'm going to sweep and show some control and a plan. Great shots just over the inner ring. They will get a couple. And living dangerously here. Beloved Biza. And she seems to be that batter that Zimbabwean side are hoping would bat through this innings. If she does bat through this innings, of course they have a chance. We spoke about it the last time, losing wickets in quick successions during their last game.
Not a bad idea when you look at that shot, of course, where they picked up a double from Beloved Biza, trying to clear the fielder at mid-offer. But again, a very sloppiness there from Mia Laro at mid-offer. You could tell she put in a little bit of laziness in running backwards. Not many times will be given those chances by Beloved Biza, who is already into the 20s for the 3rd time. For another no ball. Very good awareness and presence of mind from Beloved Biza. She knows she would love to take on the free hitter.
Good to see the intent here. It just means Zimbabwean are aware of what is required and they're going after that chase with purpose.
42 for 2 after 6.5. 9 runs coming off. Fast 5 deliveries. A little bit expensive from shot number 11, Zia. free hit to come. They don't change the field for beloved Visa, given that the two batters crossed. Takes a little shimmy, picks it on the full. There's a fielder. Two fielders are converging. One bouncer into the ground, but they'll settle for only 2 runs. Not enough timing on that occasion from beloved Visa, who wanted to clear the side screen.
For me, it's the purpose here and the understanding, the brain behind this, coming down the wicket there. He's showing that intent that, look, I'm not going to hang around without giving a fight. And that brings us to the end of the 7th over with score on 44 for the loss of 2 wickets. 102 required here of 78 deliveries.
Ashley Barnard is back into the attack to bowl her second. Ball a very, very tidy first over. 22 off 22, striking it at 100. This is the longest beloved Visa has batted in this 5th edition. Should be a sign of worry to the opposition side. Goes for a big sweep shot, loud appeal. But the umpire is not interested.
I think the umpires have been very, very good this tournament, and decisions have been spot on to see how they are on checking here. It's always good as a batter to have that confidence that the umpires know what they're doing, and we must give credit to the one standing so far.
And of course, coming back to your point, a lot of credit goes to the Nigeria Cricket Federation, giving, of course, a lot of opportunities to these umpires. We've seen a couple of them making their debut in this 5th edition. You never know, Andy, you as a player, as a former player, of course, this game can take you to the world.
Yeah, spot on, Bob. It's a beautiful moment here, relaxed atmosphere. And we'll see the Nigerian team and Rwanda arriving for the blockbuster this afternoon. Inside out, find that outside edge, get a couple, 2 runs completed already. Much needed numbers, scoreboard ticking, they're getting there now. Required has moved to 98 of 75 deliveries. The plan is to perhaps take it as deep as possible. We should give this Zimbabwean side an opportunity if they bat all the way till the end. I think it's going to be a good finish here.
Just 2 runs shy of that 50 from the young lady chevrons. Goes for a big sweep shot again, a loud appeal. Umpire again, not interested. 48 for 2 after 7.4. They will be having a chat at the 2 umpires. The wicketkeeper, Jack Leah Philander, looked very, very interested in the appeal. Gotta be very careful. He's one of the best wicketkeepers we have here in the 5th edition.
That replay again. Clearly, the umpire not interested. Sure, no contact there.
Coming back to your point earlier, Andy, we've seen so far one game that went down to the wire. South Africa U19 is taking on Rwanda. Uppish, but will fall short from the fielder at deep extra cover, who makes a base, and they pick up a double. Would love, of course, as the 50, of course, comes up inside 7.5 overs for the loss of just 2 wickets. Would love to have a game that goes down to the wire once again.
Hopefully, we'll see that in the next hour or so. But I like the way the Zimbabweans are actually going after the bowling when room is given. They're not just going to stick out there. This time, driven straight pass. Looking for that gap in the V. Couldn't find it. And that brings us to the end of the 8th over. It is 50 for the loss of 2 wickets. 96 runs required now of 72 deliveries.
That was, of course, the appeal earlier. I'm not sure they are appealing for stamping or caught behind. 6 runs comes off the second over of Ashley Barnard. 50 for 2 after 8. We haven't seen the likes of the captain. I believe she will be bowling from the pavilion end. Started off this tournament with the player of the match with her contribution with both ball and bat in hand. Scored the second half century in the tournament so far and picked up 3 wickets. At some stage, she was on 3 wickets without conceding any single run. Is the captain. Right arm leg break into the attack. The big question here is who's going to win the battle of the captains. up against Beloved Biza, who looks to have settled. Turn and bounce straight to the fielder at short third man. Should be an interesting matchup between the two captains. I beg your pardon, not the captains. It's Beloved Biza, the most experienced player in the young lady chevrons.
This is very good. Good to see how confidence maker is just flighting that delivery, and Beloved will have to do a lot more and see how she can work things around. But she's calm and focused. I like that calmness.
And bounce again, well pulled straight to the sweeper fielder in the deep as they settle for one. Partnership is moving slowly and steady from Lorraine and Beloved Biza. This is what we love to see. Lorraine, of course, playing with the experienced Beloved Biza.
That Tonya just beats indecision. Wasn't sure she was going to go big or not. So far, Maker is just pushing these overs through, bowling them very quickly. Oh, brilliant piece of bowling there. Just keeping the ball away from Lorraine. I'm sure Beloved on the other side will be hoping that she could just rotate strike a bit more. Flighted again, this time played on the up pitch but safe, landed safely at no man's land in between deep extra covers and the covers. And that brings us again to the end of the 9th over. It is 52 for 2. Just 2 runs from that over, bowled by the captain. The partnership, the first one was between Beloved Biza and Tariwa. That didn't last for more than 12 runs of 11 deliveries. And this current partnership sitting on 36 of 36, 100%. Hopefully they can accelerate. Lorraine 18 of 22. Needed 94 of 66 is Zimbabwe's women under 19 team who are currently chasing.
This is turning out to be an interesting game. When you look at that batting lineup of the young lady chevrons, Nokutenda to come in and Christina Mutasa, who scored that 40 of 24 deliveries against Team Rwanda. So you would expect these two to try and see if they can get to that 12th over with anything close to 70. I think we have a game on our cards.
Presently, the intent is clear. And they know they have to accelerate things. Lorraine and Beloved. And that partnership needs to yield more for Zimbabwe. But Danelli will make life a bit difficult here. And she intends to do just that. 94 from 65.
She did very well earlier with the bat in hand. Cut away powerfully, but this time around, not enough timing. Again, picks the only fielder at cover region. Struggling a little bit is Lorraine to get the timing right. Contributing 25 runs at the back end from Danelli and Mia Lara to make sure they set 146 target to the young lady chevrons. Moving at 5.5 runs and over. They would love to get it up there to 7 runs and over if they stand a chance. Wides on offer from Danelli Boshoff. Of course, extras in hand are working in the favor of the young lady chevrons.
A fine moment here. This partnership will define things clearly. We're into the 10th over. More and more wide. Danelli will have to do a lot more. And clearly, Zimbabwe welcomes them. Make her not comfortable and going to have a chat with her bowler.
The Romain Andy, the wides coming in handy. So far, 2 extras, having ball only 2 deliveries. If they can get a boundary and keep rotating the strike, goes across the line, beats everyone, including the wicket keeper. A lot of buys we've seen in this particular fixture.
Keepers will have to do a lot more. Usually very difficult when the balls aren't coming through. But Confidence stuff here from these two batters. They have to bat as deep as possible. You never can say there will be that one or two big overs that they can capitalize on. But the longer you stay, the better you become.
Swing gonna miss there from a beloved Biza. Very good point to make. Partnerships will always win you games. Given that beloved Biza has now occupied 9.4 overs. She can be very, very dangerous as we know the player of her caliber. Still moving slowly and steady, but she can easily switch gears. 55 for 2 after 9.4. Takes a little shimmy again, plays it on the up between the two fielders, but the field setting here from the young South Africans has been spot on.
I think I'm really impressed. The quality of cricket Beloved Biza is playing. Haven't been rational, just taking our time, keeping it things simple. That back foot shot, she's got a strength around the off stump line. Just slightly short, and she'll get on the back foot really quickly. Hopefully she gets the partnership she deserves. Big shout, yes, and it's given. Playing around that one. Lorraine will depart for 18 of 26 deliveries. The needed break by South Africa. They asked a lot of questions and they found it. The replay again. And this time it was straight on. It looks like that will be beaten leg. Umpire just so sure. Disappointing for Zimbabwe. And his strings break. He's 56 for 3 after 10 overs.
Play can now resume for the second half of this inning. It's after the innings break for the wicket of the last ball, and the partnership of Lorraine and Beloved Biza has to collapse. Christina is now in to start the 11th over. 90 runs needed of the next 60 balls for the female junior chevrons.
Intelligent cricketer she is, Beloved Biza. Seeing how she's gracing away and just rotating strike and make her skipper of the South African under 19. Not flighting, not shy of flighting the ball around the off stump line. And she knows what she's doing. She understands her cricket and she loves her cricket. I like her confidence. Oh, brilliant shot this time. Stand and deliver through the covers with that race away. The much needed boundary there. Christiana brings on that boundary. First in the second half. And slow again. Just picked slightly short. And giving her room there to extend those arms.
Everyone has suffered in their hands. Everyone has been a victim of Beloved's style of play, but Christina, being the new battle A now, she understands the assignment and she is going to do her own part in contributing to it, making sure that Beloved is not alone in this fight for a victory in the tournament.
If both these two can stick around for some time, they might just give Zimbabwe and the hope that it again this time around a bit of bounce on that one, making it difficult to read it properly. It's good thinking. The captain very sure of her field placement, moving field around, and presently just dragged on the deep square leg into the ring, pushed out an extra cover, long on, long off. She goes big in the air, but this will be safe towards backward of point, races away. They get a couple from that one, 2 runs there. Field placement here, very smart. Deep extra covers, long on, long off, and a deep mid wicket. All fielders in the ring. Short mid wicket, square leg, and that short third man, backward of point, and short covers. Goes big again. This time we should find the gap. Fielders coming around, dive in, but didn't get it. Another boundary, much needed. Christiana taking advantage of that width given by Maker.
Christina has gone all out in terms of attacking. Mika has not really come for a storm, and she has taken that assignment, complementing what Beloved Biza has been doing so far. 2 boundaries in this over, and that of the captain's over. It's actually much of an encouragement to not just the team, but to Beloved Biza as well, knowing that she's not alone in this fight. 11 overs has been completed. It is 67 on the board for 3 wickets lost. Played off the front field, Chivas mid off, and it was still in out space. Quick feeds by the batters. Beloved Biza will stay off strike after getting that quick single, sending the informed Christiana to face pace ball for the first time in this inning. Daniel Boshoff looking to continue from a very fine form of yesterday, the day before the rest day, bowling very fantastically against Rwanda, getting 2 wickets. Even though she just came in as a substitute bowler, the completion of that over gave her the chance to finish. Warning by the umpire, that ball was a little bit too high off the bounce, and the bowler has been signaled and cautioned. 1 per over. Let's start warning. Christina has done really well in terms of combating balls that have been off the wicket, going full on attack on them. 2 boundaries in that period in the previous over of Mika's. Good placement of a deep point to combat that ball. It would have been another boundary for Christina, and that too very quickly. 1 run there is for them, Beloved on strike, and their game seems to be very much now that in a position where Zimbabwe can relax. Me and Bob talked about earlier on at the beginning of the innings. We said what they needed to do was play into gaps, and she did.
I didn't really get hold of that one. This should have been grazed through covers. She knows it. She was disappointed there. 74 for 3 after 12th over. 72 runs required from 48 balls. They need to keep it ticking. Current run rate sits on 6.1 and required is 9.
That was that 4 runs coming very, very close, playing with the back arm into the gap. Zimbabwe under 19 looks to have picked up from where the left off. I don't have the first 2 games. Now they're playing against another youthful side, and it's a battle of youthful prowess. Means to see who comes out on top. Daniel Iboshoff has that to go off for now, as Ashley Van Vick is the bowler coming on the attack. This time she bowls to beloved Biza. Caught towards the fielder on Gully, and a quick singles, and no run off that ball.
Big shout out. Umpire not interested. Leg by it is. Again in your replay. Ashley flatted that one. She goes. Looks the part. But that distance covered perhaps have given the benefit of the doubt from the umpire to the batter.
That outside leg opportunity and good call from Christina to Simone, our striker, batter to quickly run on off strike and give them a run. And there've been very beautiful combination and communication between both batters.
When you graze that and then you see the hard work by the fielder, you love cricket. A brilliant run in between wicket. Beloved just loving the moment. She's moved on to 30 of 35 deliveries. She needs to bat through this innings. 68 required from 43 now. Goes for that sweep. This will be wide and they will run a couple. Will they come back for a second? Will it go all the way? Brilliant chase by the fielder and it running all the way. From the slip cordon, that will be 3 runs wide and 2 runs taken. It is continuous pressure. 81 now.
You have to commend Christina for coming in and taking charge. She's coming on. There's been a 25-run partnership with 16 of those coming from Christina's bat. A lovely way to end over. A run on the board for the Zimbabwe under 19s. 82 on the board for 3 after 13 overs. It's 64 now needed of the next 42 balls. A start to the 14 over. We'll have to wait for a first ball. The first ball attempt by Ashley Bernard is a white ball. 1 run, much to the pleasing of the Zimbabwe under 19. Very full and pulled Beloved on the chokehold. Couldn't score a run off that ball. And the run are starting to slow down for the Zimbabwe under 19.
Very brilliant. Soft hands there through mid-wicket for a single. Good idea, good approach. Beloved will have to keep rotating, but at some point they have to accelerate. They need that. Just playing around there. South Africans need to keep things clean now. Ashley bowling from the Court of Appeal and now to Pilov Biza. Oh, misses everything, the keeper. And this they will get a couple. Fielder comes around it. Another two. If they can get to a century in the next 2 overs, in the next 2-3 overs, then we have a game in our hands. And this is what I talked about earlier after that first game, like the second game by Zimbabwe. If you keep wickets in hand in the last 3 overs, you get a chance to score as much as you want, as long as you can have the confidence to attack. All bowled, clean ball this time. Clean that up. It is Pilov Biza who will depart. Not what you want to say if you are in the Zimbabwean dugout. But it is what it is. Again on your screen. Consistency, patience. She plays around that one that found the gates between the bat and pad.
It is that wicket again, miscalculated on that shot. Been trying to find that deep, straight down, and was unlucky. Hasn't really found that rhythm or that region of the field, and would not have a chance to try again. A big wicket for the South African under 19, and a big blow to the Zimbabwe under 19. Christina has started off well, and we have to take charge now as she's been pairing with Bethel. Good play, good performance so far, an improvement in performance by the female junior chevrons. Up until now in this tournament, their highest has been 83 all out, and now with 87 on the board and still 6 wickets in hand, this game is still very much far from over. We saw 2 days ago, just before the rest day, South Africa under 19 pushed Rwanda to the very end. Means to see if Zimbabwe under 19 can do the same, putting a little bit of an ease to the South African team. Already an end. It is to the 14th over. 88 on the board for 4 wickets lost. 58 is not what's needed of the next 36 balls. Zia is back in attack and starts off. Played off wonderfully, but doesn't beat the fielder at mid-off. A dot. Not gotten a wicket yet for Zia. She will a little bit that googly spin. And Christiana is facing difficulties. Been explosive when she came in. And as the game is going to, it's nearing its end. She's had to slow down. Our second pair, Biza, beloved, is no longer in there. And now somebody has to take up that responsibility and be selective. Also, Christina finds herself in that position. And it's 4-4. Good discipline length. An attempted shot, but no run is birted. 5 balls, 5 dots. One more ball for maiden over for Zia Munala. Full delivery and play 2. Fine. Desperation for a run. Sees a wicket fall. My correction, not out is the decision by the umpire. A run was completed. A maiden couldn't be actualized for Zia Munala and the South Africa under 19. 89 on the board, 15 overs completed. 5 more overs to end this game. One that single of the last ball sees Christiana come on strike almost as immediately as she went off strike. Ashley coming from my favorite end, the Court of Appeal, and Bob will come back into the comms box.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you to our lovely viewers, wherever you're watching us live here at the TBS. Starts off with an extra ease. Ashley Barai on the other side. Peter, she's done a tremendous job to pick up the big wicket over our beloved Biza. She would love to finish her quarter in style, having gone for only 15 runs. Half struck on the occasion, kept the tat too low. They know, of course, that Christina Mutasa, given that she scored 40 off 24, if I'm not mistaken, in her previous outing with the bat, should be the big wicket they are looking for now. Takes a little shimmy, Apish, who falls short at the fielder in the deep at long on. They won't take a double as the new batter in Beto is not the quickest between the wickets. But again, when you look at the scorecard right now, Peter, 90 for 4 after 15.91, I beg your pardon, for 4 after 15.2. The difference in this particular fixture is going to be that contribution at the back end from Danili Boshoff and Mia Lalo, contributing that 50-run partnership.
Given the fact that below Biza is not there anymore and Christina is the one in the crease having to take up that mantle quite very early and into the dying stages of the game, you see that Bethel and Christina have had to, try and take this game as far as it goes. Right now, what they need is 54 of the next 26 balls. It is still very much achievable. But Bob, I want to ask you this. What do you think that the Zimbabwe under 19 have to do in this batting inning to try and get themselves a win?
Swing and a miss there into the block hole once again from Ashley Bernard, who's been very, very good with the ball in hand. To come back to your point, I believe they just need to stay focused. Given that Christina Mutasa is still out there, she needs to face more deliveries than the new batter in. If they stand a chance, of course, she has the abilities to strike the ball. We saw her hitting 2 maximums against Team Rwanda on a very good bowling attack of Team Rwanda. She'll need to bat deep and see how close they can get to that 54 runs they in 25 balls. Full again, Apish, up and over the field at backward pointer. They will be looking for a double here, but this time round, Christina Mutasa, given that she will be keeping strike, she tells her partner, hold your horse, young lady. As we come to the end of the 16th, it's 93 for 4. Let's have a look at the batting chart again for the Zimbabwe under 19s. Beloved Biza once again not contributing, but not carrying our team over the line. They are in desperate need of a win. 34 of 40, 4 boundaries. Nothing much from Nicolette Nika once again, 0 of 4. Tadiwa, who had to depart, being promoted, of course. 18 from Lorena, not a bad contribution. 20 from Christina Mutasa, who is still out there. Her wicket would be very, very key in this particular game. But again, not to take anything away from the captain, Mika van Voster, rotating her bowlers to perfection. Full on the occasion from Mia Leroy, who comes in to bowl her second spell at the back end of the chase, where, of course, these two need a couple of boundaries. She went for 12, didn't pick a wicket, but we all know She loves bowling into the block hole at the back end. Sloppiness there from the fielder at short mid wicket, allowing these two to scamper for a run. I don't mind this single if I was the captain of the South Africa Under-19s, given that it's Betho, the new batter in, who will be taking a strike.
But hasn't really had much balls to face. And it is quite necessary. This is more than the battle that Christina can fight alone. She needs a partner to always, be able to show that she has a capable hands to aid in the runs chase.
Soft answer. Run out chance, but not the best of throws. She wasn't even in the frame. But again, very good awareness from Christina Mutasa. Let's have a look at that again on the replay. Ball outside off stamper. Opened up the full face, guiding it to the fielder at point, pick and throw. Ooh. Went for the bullseye, misses it by a whisker. The fielding has been spot on from the young South African side. Christina Mutasa is back on strike. Full again, lovely shot again. An effort in vain. She was looking for that boundary. As they edge closer to that 3-digit mark is the young lady chevrons. They need more of those boundaries. Full ball on that occasion from Mia Laro, and she pays the price, given that the two fielders were inside the ring at mid-off and mid-on, making it very, very easy for her to pick up a boundary.
Each time a boundary is scored, it is going to put a little bit of unease to the South African Under-19. That's what Zimbabwe are trying to do. Very huge pound behind the ball. Loud sound between bat and ball as they run to complete 2 runs. 2 runs successfully completed for Zimbabwe Under-19. Remember, Bob Mafusa said it last time at the post-match. He said one of the reasons why they've not been able to successfully chase runs is because they've not had wickets in hands. Now with 6 wickets in hands, it's looking like this chase is actually very possible.
Henry comes up with that double, of course. Very good running between the wickets from Betho and Christina Mutasa. Last ball to come. Already 8 runs have come off this over. Works it on the onside. You could tell she was trying to get that single so that she can keep strike on the other end. 17 overs done and dusted, 101 for 4. Needing only 45 in the next 18 deliveries. Something has to give here, Peter.
That late explosive shot from Mika 2 days ago against Rwanda. We would need to see that from Christina as well. That is what they need now. Singles would not do it at this point. They really need to find those ropes as frequently as they can.
Up against, of course, shot number 2, Ashley Van Wyk, coming in to bowl her second spell. She bowled the 2 overs, I beg your pardon, in the power play, picked up 2 wickets. She's been used as the insurance policy for the young South African Under-19s. She has a long on, long off, not deep extra cover, interestingly, and a deep mid-wicket, deep square leg. What are the options here from these two? Cheeky and not effective. I don't mind seeing Betho trying the reverse switch hit, given that there's no one apart from these 2-3 fielders at third point and covers patrolling the offside. But again, she doesn't have enough pace to work with. Slow in the air, loud appeal by the umpire says not out again.
Jay Lee has been really excellent behind the stump. Hasn't gotten that edge that she's very, very well known for getting. But she's made sure that she's dealt with every ball that comes our way and into our region very, very properly.
Loud appeal and the umpire says it's out. I would love to have a look at that again, Peter, on the replay. Let's have a look.
It was a floating ball, and Betho, with no other option, wanted to make that ball in the first bounce and missed that shot entirely. And certainly he was going for the stumps, as seen by the umpire. There was no contest in that decision. He was straight to the stumps, and now Christine will see another partnership broken. And we are going to see Salem now coming for Betho. Salem was really good with the ball, didn't get it. Got at wicket for the first time in this tournament, picked up 2 wickets in the bowling inning. That remains to see how coming with the bat. And just look at that replay again. Look at that ball. Wanting to meet that ball before that first bounce actually did backfire. Went really, really low and made the decision very, very easy for the umpire.
Picking up third wicket is Ashley Van Wyk once again, and more importantly, it's a dot bowler. She is here to concede the run. Coming back, of course, to bowl her last spell. She's been kept off strike is Christina Mutasa. Something they've done tremendously is the South Africa under-19s. Very big credit goes to the captain. Laula Piragaina. And he's been turned down by the umpire once again. The wicketkeeper looked very, very convincing with the appeal. Always keeping the umpires in check are the young South Africa under-19s. 4 dot balls. This is a very good bowling from the young Ashley Van Wyk. One for the future, you'd feel. Tattoo on the occasion, but this time around the umpire says wides.
Trying as hard as possible to keep Christina off strike. Salem Tusa being a talent, but doesn't really have that experience of what it takes to come back bowl. She's just used to, having 2 stay there. She's there to keep our wickets. And right now, what they need is just more than keeping wickets. They need those runs coming off. That front foot movement is not there from Christina and from Salem, my corrections. And South Africa are looking to have won this game. 44 is what they need now of the next 12 balls, which means that what they have now is 102 for 5 wickets after 18 overs.
1 run comes off the third over of Ashley Van Wyk, picking up a wicket to make it 3. 102 for 5 after 18. The game slipping away, of course, from the young lady chevrons. At some stage, when Bilal Biza was still batting out there in the middle with Christina Mutasa, it was a very, very possible equation. But given that those 5 dot balls from Ashley Van Wyk, they have decided to change the tide of this game. Christina Mutasa has a lot of work to be done in this penultimate over. Full on the occasion, lovely shot down the ground. This time round, the wicket keeper, the captain takes matters into our own hands. Fielding at long on, to keep it to only 2 runs.
And everything possible to keep Christina on strike. Very quick feed from both of them. Christina has a chance, send the ball, and will want to go all out on full attack.
Full again, takes a little shimmy, takes the outside edge over the fielder at pointer. The chase is on by the 2 fielders. They will settle for only 2 runs. She's not interested in the third is Christina Mutasa.
Been in the crease quite a while. It will be very difficult to, boundaries have not been coming through. She's been very active in terms of running in between the wickets. Fatigue set in, but regardless, she is still making sure that the runs are coming.
Was inside out this time round, and no chance whatsoever for the fielder chasing. Make that 6 runs coming off the first 3 of the penultimate over. A little bit too later for my liking, given that they wasted a couple of deliveries earlier on.
And like that replay came in a front foot. All she just had to do was open up and pick it with a maximum power into the open field. South Africa under 19 have put the field in the chokehold, having almost everybody inside, and that shot has given them a reason to now expand. But regardless, that full length ball expected the bounce. That shuffle didn't pay out for Christina. A dot ball was the result of that last ball. And Zia, young, but doing excellently well. And now the shuffle has gone to the advantage of the South African under 19. Quick hands from Jaylee Philanda, a wicket. And Christina, the only hoop or the current hoop for the Zimbabwe under 19 has had to go out.
Very good bowling from Zia. That was bound to happen. Took a little shimmy. Ended up yoking herself. An easy job there from the wicketkeeper batter. But again, it didn't look like she had the ball after completing that stamping. They lose their sixth ease. The young lady chevrons should be the last nail in the coffin as they need 36 in the next 7 balls. $110 for 6 after 18.5. Match day 4, game number 7 of the 5th edition of the Nigeria Women's Invitational T20 tournament live here at the Tafawa Balewa Square in Lagos. We have a blockbuster over game later in this afternoon where Team Rwanda will be taking on the host nation, the female Yellow Greens, in what is expected to be an anticipated game. They have their rivalry. They have played 25 times. Rwanda, of course, still leading. The last ball to be faced by the captain. Turn and bounce. A fantastic over once again comes to an end from Zia as we come into the last 6 deliveries of match day 4 game 7. South Africa, of course, the under 19s are looking to bounce back from the defeat against Team Rwanda. On the other side, the young lady chevrons are yet to pick up a win in this 5th edition. They've not had a good day in the office with both bat and ball in hand.
Final over it is for this inning, 36 of the next 6 balls. You know what that means? That means that every ball now has to be sent for the maximum. Huge pressure for Salem. Canelo in for a second over. Bob, this game looks like it's gone out of their hands. Right now, it's at the rate of required run rate is 36, which means a maximum of every ball.
I'll tell you, Peter, that's a question even Sophie Divine cannot answer, given, of course, the power she possesses. They need 6 maximums, and they start off with a double. Should be a game, and that's the idea for the young South Africans who have been very, very disciplined. They put on a collective performance. Started off, of course, with Ashley Barnard with the bat. Made sure they got to a very good platform in the power play. 62 runs they got in the power play for the loss of 1 wicket. And, of course, at the back end, led by Danieli Boshoff and Mia Laura contributing 25 and 25 irrespective. Knocks her over straight away. Full and straight off stamp out of the ground from Kananelo as she picks up her first wicket. 7 wickets down for just 112 runs for the young lady chevrons.
Desperation getting the best of Salim. Didn't wait for that ball, sort of bounce, and just went to the leg side, played before the ball got to her, and that was the result of very fine bowling by Kananelo.
$112 for 7, but again, when you look at the scorecard, tells you a thing or two, given that Beloved Biza scored 30 in the chase, but she didn't get her team over the winning. Moving forward, they have the qualifiers later in the year. They've always found themselves with only one batter contributing at the young lady chevrons in every game they've played. Of course, despite today, Beloved Biza's 34 under, Krista Mutasa once again contributing. But again, when you look at the number, she comes in at number 5. I would love to see her. Yes, they are still looking for that right combinations up front before they get into the Under 19 World Cup qualifiers. I would love to see her in the next game coming in at least at number 4 or even at 1 down. Full again, well kept from Jai Life Filanda. Wides on offer. They will need more than 1 wide is the young lady chevrons.
Ruvarashi is the batter in. And it's not really looking like really something that she was prepared for. But this is some sort of a good look for the Zimbabwe side. They've kept their wicket going beyond the 100-run mark, unlike their previous two performances. Goes full, and the wicket is dislodged. Varashi couldn't come back that full toss, wanted to play to the leg side, but inexperience got the best of her, and Cananelo will get another wicket in this over. 3 balls are ready to go, and just 2 wickets left. Performance that started off so well is starting to decline as pressure has taken hold. Naomi will be coming in almost as quickly as Varashi stepped in.
Cananelo bowling superbly at the death, picking up 2 wickets for only 11 in her spell. 113 for 8 after 19.3 into the last 3 deliveries of our match day 4, game 7. If you're just joining us, of course, South Africa under-19s won the toss, decided to have a bat faster, setting a target of 146. And the young lady Chevrons, who are in desperate need of a win to get off the mark, of course, here in Nigeria at the Tafawa Balewa Square, find themselves on 113 for the loss of 8. Very good, you'd say. Bounce back here from the young South African under-19s, having lost a very close game against Team Rwanda by 4 runs. They bounce back with a convincing win. 3 more deliveries to come. Quicker on that occasion beats the 2 fielders that covers the chase zone as she picks up a boundary. Is the new batter in. A little bit too late again from the young lady Chevrons as we are into the last 2 deliveries to come.
Really did put out their best today. I will commend the lady Chevrons for that. Even though this game must have slipped out of their hand, but it is certainly an improvement from the first 2 match days that they've played in.
It's going to be very interesting, Peter, again to know who plays who in the semi-finals, given that Team Rwanda are yet to lose a game. And Team Nigeria, of course, are the host nation, and they will be facing off each other this afternoon at the Tafawa Balewa Square, whereas the South Africans have made sure they've picked up yet another winner, convincingly winning by 33 runs. Another win in the bag for the young South Africans. Look at the celebrations there on your screen. You have to excuse us, of course, a little bit of a technical issue, but South Africa get another win. Do enjoy some of the highlights as we'll be back shortly for the post-match presentation, and do not go anywhere. We have a blockbuster over game. Nigeria, the host nation, will be taking on Team Rwanda this afternoon.